On this episode of System Integrators Weekly, it's been a while since we've looked at Starforge Systems, but they've changed their entire lineup. So let's look at every one of those systems and nitpick them one by one. You know you love me, Nick. All that and more on this episode of System Integrators Weekly.
Let's go, nerds!
Hello everyone, I'm Brea Thorne. Welcome to SI Weekly, where we take a look at system integrators or companies that build pre-built PCs for you, the consumer. And we try to find the best ones out there and see what they're about. So what we're going to be looking at today, the company we're looking at today is Starforge Systems. You may know them as penis rocket computers.
Definitely going to be a polarizing feature, but I for one appreciate that they chose a penis rocket for their logo.
You know, that's what Linus said, so Papa Linus says that's what goes, I guess. Now, it's been a while since I looked at Starforge, and initially they just had a couple of systems there that were pretty good and definitely a great step to get them into the SI industry. But man, they have made some big changes over there because it's been a while. So we're going to take a look at all of those systems and we're going to see how they shape up. These systems cover budgets all the way from $999 all the way up to like $4,400. So guaranteed, whatever your budget is, this is going to cover you in some way, and you can decide for yourself whether you're interested in Starforge Systems. And I'm deciding for myself to let you know that this video is sponsored by VIP CDK Deals.
The best place to go when you want to get yourself an OEM Windows license to get rid of that annoying watermark and unlock all the customization Windows has to offer. So instead of paying well over $100 for a retail version of Windows, you can get an OEM key for a fraction of the price. Plus, you can use my code BRE25 to get a nice fat discount off of the already discounted price. Keep in mind that this is an OEM key that gets attached to this system and cannot be used with another one or if you change your hardware. Make sure you get the right key for your operating system. For more information on how to use CDK Deals, click the link in the description saying here's how it works, and I'll walk you through the whole thing. Thank you, CDK Deals, for continuing to support the channel.
Now, before we get into it, a few disclaimers, all right? And these are important, so listen. This video is being filmed for the week of Monday, the 25th of September, and prices and availability may change if you're watching this weeks or months afterwards. If you are watching this way later, you can always check the end of the video when I will put up, it'll show you the latest video that I have, or you can just subscribe to the channel, or I guess just click on it and look at videos, whatever, you got options. But always try to make sure that you're watching the most recent content because yeah, if this is a year from now, which I still have people commenting on my last Starforge video, which is way back when, watch the newer ones. Maybe I've mentioned them again. The next one is that you're going to hear my opinions. You're not just going to see the stuff that's on the screen, and that stuff, of course, is factual because it's right there. You're going to hear my opinions about it, okay? My opinions are my own. It's not like I'm telling you that, hey, I don't like that, so it is objectively bad. That statement doesn't make any sense. This is all subjective to me and my point of view, but my point of view comes from decades of experience with custom PCs, building PCs, fixing them, all of the PC things. And I've been doing this specifically for a couple of years now. So I basically look at these companies for a living. The final thing is this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to buy and what not to buy because there's too many of you. The goal here is actually to just provide you with information so you can make an informed decision with spending your hard-earned money on a PC that you're going to be using for years. Okay, so it's not just about what CPU, what GPU, it's about the company too. What kind of support are you going to get after the purchase? All of those kinds of things. Those are very much important. Maybe they don't seem important right now, but they will be whenever you got to call them up or send an email. Now, question for you guys, do you want to see me go and visit these guys in their facility over there near Austin? Would you guys want to see that? Because that's something that we can do. I want to see how, what makes these guys tick, what's going on. Maybe I'll even, if they let me, pop in on the stream and just be like, that'd be kind of fun. I think it'd be super fun, actually. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you want to see that, get subscribed if you're not already. Make it 30,001. I don't know where we're at right now. It might have gone back to under 30K. These things fluctuate. Anyway, let me know. So that's it for those. Let's take a look at Starforge Systems. For some reason on the site, it's just this banner and then just a void. Maybe it's about the space. Space is a void, but then you scroll down a bit and then you start seeing some stuff here. when you only build in a couple of cases or even one case, you have streamlined your assembly process. You know, the builders know exactly how to build those PCs. It speeds it up. And as a matter of fact, something I do happen to know about Starforge Systems, they actually have standardized their cable management for each of those cases. What that means to you is that if you have an issue with, say, one of your fans, the RGB isn't turning on, they can tell you exactly where that cable is over the phone and get you going. I want to see more of this. Honestly, I'm going to give you a bit of a spoiler here. Aside from a few things, I think Starforge is killing it here. Like they've really made some good moves here. And if you find that their price on a certain system is a little high for you, understandable. If that's within your budget, you want something different, there are tons of SIs out there. But for most people's budgets, these systems are going to fit right in as long as the expectations are in the right place. Now, one thing I want to mention about Starforge, which you might know if you've heard me talk about them before, is this. There's a little option right here, and you'll see that right there. I would like the chance to watch my PC built live. This option can add 7 to 10 days of processing. So that means that you have the chance, which unfortunately it's not guaranteed like with some other SIs. There's a couple of them out there where you can basically say, hey, I'd like to watch it being built live, and they will do it. And there's, a couple that there's one that they just stream every build they do. With this one, they might be moving, higher volume of PCs, and they just can't stream every single one of them. But you can click more info here and find out more info. There is no extra cost, but there's a very important note here. There's always a chance that one of your favorite creators steps into the Forge and helps build your computer with adult your computer with adult supervision, of course. And yeah, if you go over to twitch.tv/Starforge Systems, you'll see that they had Moist Critical on there. Charlie helped build a PC, and as they said, with some supervision. The downside is that it's not guaranteed. A note for Starforge though. Where on the site does it say how long what the lead times are? Like, it is good to list that. It can be found in the shipping information site. That's not cool. No. You guys have to have it earlier than that, because you don't want someone to fall in love with a PC and realize they're not going to get it as soon as they need it for their kid's birthday or something. If you ask me, it needs to be like one of the first things you see. You guys had the banner for the Voyager changes. It can be something like that. Current orders, domestic orders are shipping within 1 to 2 weeks or something like that. Even if it's vague, anything helps, because right now, without having to put in my personal information, I don't know how long that's going to be. Because if you go to your cart and you're going to you have to agree to terms and conditions and do the secure checkout, okay? Before I can find out how long it's going to take to get it, I have to give you all of my personal information. That's not great. And I don't like to see that. You guys should know about what your lead times are averaging, and it shouldn't be something that we can't see until I've told you my address, my phone number, if I work for a company, I guess, exactly where I live, like that's, and my email, that should not be the case. It's a big deciding factor for a lot of people. It's so much of a deciding factor in my streams, which I swear are coming back. Okay. I promise that box right there is a big new green screen for me to set up so I can do Motion Studio for streaming. I should just stream just like this. Who cares? Whatever. In those streams, I have a list of questions, and one of them is, how long after purchase, how long can you wait for your PC? That's an important question for a lot of people, and you can't put it behind hey, well, just give us your information and maybe we'll tell you. So their headline system here, the one that they want to show you the most, seems to be the Horizon II, which we will take a look at. Then you're looking at 3 systems being shown under that: the Core, the Enthusiast, and the Voyager systems. After that, they're talking about what makes them different, which I like to see. You notice how this is about the same size as this empty void right here. I would put it right there. Tell people right away what the difference is. So what they're talking about being that makes them different is the white glove service, hand-picked, hand-built, hand-shipped, all right here in the US. Starforge Systems prides itself on delivering a white glove service with every computer purchased. 2-year warranty. Computers are for gaming, not worrying. Okay. Because of that, we offer 2-year full parts and labor warranty, And there's the answer to that question that you didn't know you wanted to ask. So you can focus on the thing that matters most, having fun. Okay, built by enthusiasts. This is something I know is actually very true. Whether it's built on stream or in our warehouse, you can rest easy knowing that your computer is being built by people who eat, sleep, and breathe computers. They're crunchy, right? Man, it's a good way to get your iron in your system, though. Take pride in our work, and we love what we do. And high-level performance from Austin to the Andromeda Galaxy. We mean it when we say we have the best gaming PCs in the universe. Man, that would be expensive shipping. Quality parts and craftsmanship allows us to give you the ultimate experience. Okay, and this is good because this is way down here to say, hey, give us your email address and we'll send you emails. And it doesn't pop up when you open the site. I hate when sites do that. It is so tacky. And then just some links. So that's the front page. I just wanted to sort of go over that, analyze it. And when we're zoomed in at like 175%, this does make sense. I am on a 4K monitor here, so that might be why when you guys are evaluating it, it looks right to you guys. But at 100% on a 4K monitor, this is what you see. I'm also full screened. Now, there is an extra thing up here where it says Voyager PCs now feature the Starforge plate light and an additional 2 terabyte SSD. Cool change. Very cool. So if we just go hit, gaming PCs and then view all gaming PCs, you will get this screen. And I would say that this is a good screen to go to yourself, because then you can start looking at some of these things like, hey, I want something with this particular graphics card. I want something with a 4080 or a 7900 XTX because I want to go with the AMD graphics. You have those options there. Storage, I want this much storage. And thank you guys for defaulting to show price low to high. I appreciate that. Thank you. Starting at $999 and we go all the way up to $43.99. Yeah, $4,400. So you have quite a range here. Not a ton of systems, but they do hit all the important notes when it comes to budgets. I think honestly, my biggest gripe with Starforge, and this is a doozy. My biggest gripe is, why is this not, it was sold out. I love this. This is nuts. I want this and I can't have it. And that's my biggest gripe. It's also the only 7800X3D, 7900XTX, all AMD system. And you need to have that in your regular lineup. If this is an indication of what y'all are capable of, I am looking forward very much to what y'all do in the future with things like this. Especially when I get one, because you're going to give me one of these because I want this, but it was a special edition and they don't have it anymore. So let's take a look at the first system. Looking at the Horizon 2 Core, what you're going to be getting with this one is, well, here's the blurb. It's built to lower the barrier of entry to PC gaming while continuing to uphold the high standards Starforge Systems sets for itself. This system is designed to deliver strong performance without cutting corners on build quality or aesthetic. So from right here, you can switch between these three Horizon systems up to the Horizon 2 Prime. And they give you some performance metrics here that, but one thing I do appreciate, not recommended 4K. 4K is just not recommended on these systems. And then we got the specs for this system. Now, this is a Ryzen system, and you'll notice most of them are Intel systems, but this one's a Ryzen system with a Ryzen 5 5600. Still a good gaming CPU, getting a bit long in the tooth though, and that platform is now kaput. It's at end of life. What we're looking at here for the motherboard is one of my nitpicks, and we're already getting started, okay? And you can see it right here. Problem is, this is a full ATX case with a micro ATX motherboard. Is that possible to do? And can any person building their own PC do that? Yes. What does that result in though? Two things that bother me about this. First off, you're losing some of the expansion slots you would have on a motherboard that is a full ATX. And those are PCIe expansion slots for things like capture cards, things like that. You seem to have one here, but if you want to add more USB ports or you want a capture card, you got to decide one or the other. The other thing is just the aesthetics. As this thing says, without cutting corners on build quality or aesthetics, but you are certainly cutting a corner on aesthetics with this, because you cannot have good cable management by putting an MATX motherboard in a full ATX case. They just hang out there. There are great MATX cases that you could use instead. That would add a third case to your logistics to worry about, to your having to store them, having to have your standardized cable management setups for them. I know that that's annoying. The other option is just to get full ATX motherboards only because you don't have any MATX cases. Oh, yeah. You guys are sending out a system in 2023 with a VGA connection. Okay. I mean, sure. So this is not really my favorite motherboard. However, if it had more expansion slots, which it seems to have a whole bunch of them, but they're mostly covered by the GPU. Not great for anyone who wants to stream. Like that 6 USB ports right there, that's perfect for anyone who just wants to game. And as a matter of fact, most of them are higher speed, which is nice, but there's no USB Type-C, and which is okay. All I'm saying is that this would run out really quickly, even for just a gaming system. It would be enough for just a gaming system though. Now, I'm not gonna harp on that for the other systems that have the same problem. If you forgot what I said about it, you can always just click on the timestamp for the first system, come back and listen to me complain about it all over again. Let's look at the rest of the specs. So this has 16 gigs of RAM, DDR4, 3600. Thank you for going 3600 with a Ryzen 5000 system. You know that's the sweet spot, and you went with it. Good. Be Quiet Pure Rock Slim 2 air cooler. They could have gone with a cheaper one, but they didn't. They went with the Be Quiet one, so it's gonna have a slightly quieter fan, good operation. It's gonna be everything that's needed for this 5600. An MSI MPG A650 GF Gold rated power supply. So the A number G type power supplies generally review pretty well and do pretty well in testing. So that's awesome. Now here's another awesome thing. It's a budget system that doesn't come with a 512 gig M.2 drive. 1 terabyte Team Group PCIe 4.0 NVMe drive. So that's really nice, and I love to see that. And you get some sleeved cable extensions, which is awesome to see. Other than it being a platform that's end of life, if that doesn't matter to you, then it doesn't matter to you. Going with something like a newer platform but going with like a budget spec is good for those who plan to upgrade down the line. If you never plan to upgrade, this might be enough for you. But instead, what we're going to look at is we're going to go up by $150, and we're going to look at the Horizon 2, which I think is better positioned here. Tech specs, Intel Core i5-12400. This thing is awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for not putting a 12400F in there. That's awesome. But yet another system in a full ATX case that has an MATX motherboard, and this is a thing that does not need to happen. Deepcool AK400 air cooler. Okay, so switched over to a Deepcool one, has the Starforge
penis rocket
hammer, same cables, same power supply. So all you're really looking at here, Deepcool, same tower. All you're really looking at here is a change of the cooler and the processor platform. So a motherboard, processor, cooler. So taking a quick look at this motherboard here, we can take a look at the layout, and yeah, well, it's sparse as budget motherboards are going to go. This one has a bonus USB port and a USB Type-C, so 2 bonus USB ports. So Wi-Fi 6, not Wi-Fi 6E, which is a decent amount faster, but you would, not everyone even has a Wi-Fi 6E router for their Wi-Fi. So, either way. But if you go to detail, we can also see the, say our Ethernet, which is a 2.5 gig Ethernet port, which is nice. So that's the difference though. But what the difference means with going with this different platform that costs $150 more, first off, the 12400 is going to beat the pants off the 5600 in some titles and in a lot of other use cases. The other thing, more important thing, is that it is very upgradable. You can go from the 12400 to a, apparently a 14400 when that comes out, or a 13600K. I know this is not a Z series motherboard, so you can't overclock that 13600K, but you can still utilize all the cores. Moving on to the Horizon 2 Prime. So what we're looking at here is same CPU, same motherboard, same RAM, 16 gigs still. I think that could go to 32 for 1350. That's not a lot when it comes to DDR4. Really what we're looking at is an upgrade to the power supply and to the GPU. Okay, we're going from a 6650 XT to a 6750 XT, which is a significant upgrade in terms of graphical performance, particularly if you want to game at 1440p. The one thing about these is that they're all AMD Radeon cards from the 6000 series. So those weren't amazing for ray tracing. If ray tracing is super important to you, that's one thing. Now, if you're also wanting to stream, this is also not super great unless you plan to do your stream encoding with the CPU, because it's not a 12400F. Thank you guys again for doing that. However, 7000 series GPUs have AV1 encoding. And once Twitch wakes up and they're like, oh yeah, weren't we part of the team to make that happen? We should actually implement that on our website. Once that happens, then those 7000 series GPUs will be great for that. They did upgrade to a 750 watt power supply. So you're going from 1149 to 1349. So it's a $200 upgrade going from the 6650 XT to the 6750 XT. Now we're going to go back to view all gaming PCs. We're going to go to the Horizon II Super. This one is a $400 jump in price. Now, what do you get for that? For the gamer looking to graduate beyond entry level, the Horizon II Super features the latest technologies from NVIDIA and Intel. And this is when you're switching up to NVIDIA GPUs. And is designed to provide a phenomenal experience for esports and AAA titles alike. All right, so this is going to be the Horizon II Super, Horizon II Ultra, and the Sentinel that are all grouped together, ranging from $1,750 to $2,500. So what we got here is a 13600K paired with a 4060 Ti. So this is a big jump up because now you're getting a Z series motherboard. And hey, look at that. Look at how much better it is when you have a full ATX motherboard in a full ATX case. Kudos, Starforge, for actually having pictures of the specific system you're talking about on each designated page. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Now, I want to show you what I'm talking about when I say that Starforge Systems is doing it right. They're on the right track here, on the right course, I should say. They're on course. There you go, because it's Starforge, right? It's not just going to be CPU, GPU upgrade every time they raise the price. Because no, it's the motherboard is now a Z series motherboard, so it can take advantage of that 13600K's overclocking capabilities. Awesome. Also, it's a DDR5 motherboard. So you're going from DDR4 to DDR5, from 16 gigs of RAM to 32 gigs of RAM. There you go. It's DDR5 6000 megatransfers per second, CL38. So pretty good stuff. So this one has 5 fans. Why would it have 2 more fans than the other systems? Well, that's because it has an AIO, an all-in-one liquid cooler to help cool that 13600K. And let me tell you, depending on the motherboard and how much power it shoves into that CPU, it can use the cooling. We're going to take a look at the motherboard real quick just to kind of see what they're putting in there. But you also have, at this price, I would like to see a little bit more storage, but you're already getting a lot of upgrades, so I'm not too mad at that. Plus, there's 2 easily accessible M.2 sockets right there. I like it. It's good. 7 USB Type-A ports and 1 Type-C. It's a lot like the B660 motherboard, yes, but clearly lists 2.5 gig Ethernet here and Wi-Fi 6E. This is a solid motherboard when it comes to I/O. This is pretty good. I will say that this is better than what some boards like in this price range that MSI has done before. However, if you want to see who's kind of been killing the game when it comes to I/O on motherboards at almost any price range, Gigabyte's kind of been leading the pack there. In general, though, you're also looking at a more solid looking motherboard. Like this is fully built out. Like some of these, they're just sparse. There's not much power delivery and not much cooling for it, which is funny because, you know, the fewer phases in power delivery you have, the more heat each individual one will generate. Fun fact, clearly this costs more. So when you see that jump in price, you know, from 1350 to 1750, there's a lot that goes into that. This is a solid upgrade. Okay, now we're going to 2100 bucks. This is the one that was on the front page. That's right. This is the star of the show, the Horizon II Ultra. So what changes here other than the GPU going up to a 4070? That's 1 tick up from the 4060 Ti up to a 4070. You're also, it's the same RAM, same cooler, same CPU, different graphics card, same motherboard, which is fine. It's a great motherboard for this. 2 terabyte, what did I say? 2 grand? 2 terabytes. Okay, 2 terabyte Team Group Z44 Alpha 5 PCIe 4.0. Okay, cool. Love that. And you have, of course, the sleeve cables. I love that you guys are doing sleeve cables even on your budget system. And that's just great to see. MSI MPG A850G, so it's an upgrade to the power supply again with PCIe 5. So PCIe 5.0, that means it's going to have the 12VH PWR connector as standard. So that's good. Yeah, this is a decent deal right here. This is a good deal, actually. Now the 4070 is the questionable part, but that's because 40 series is a controversial generation for NVIDIA. I would say what you guys should probably do, get yourself some RX 7700 XTs and RX 7800 XTs. Get those GPUs. Get them fast. Because this one, same price with a 7700 or 7800 even, well, that might be the next step up, I guess, will beat the 4070. And as for streaming, AV1, if you're streaming on YouTube, is already available. All right. I would say throw a 7700 XT in there, do some benchmarks, see if it beats the 4070, because 7000 series Radeon cards are pretty rad. So what happens when you take this system and throw $400 at it? Well, the name changes for one thing. You're in a different case this time. You're going from the sort Deepcool case, which Deepcool makes some quality cases, but they're also known for being more on the budget side of things. They're making some cool moves in the industry. Respect what Deepcool's doing. Lee & Lee is not on the budget side of things. Now, this is the 011 Dynamic Evo. It's a really cool case because you can like invert it pretty easily and do cool stuff like that. Now, there is a gripe that I've had with Starforge for a while, and without the system here, it's harder to say whether it's just a personal opinion thing or not. Now, this looks amazing, having this LED panel right here. Okay, this is not a screen. You can't change what's on it. I would need to be able to have one in order to do my own thermal testing to see this, but they do their own benchmarking right here. Don't know if thermals are included. This is a space here that could have been taken up with intake fans. Having 6 intake fans and 3 or 4, they have one on the back, exhaust fans means you have more incoming air, meaning you have a positive pressure airflow setup. That keeps dust from, it can help keep dust from being sucked into the system through any unfiltered openings in the case. That's generally what I prefer to do. With these specs, with the 13600K and a 4070 Ti, it's probably totally fine. And I know that, I don't think when Linus got one, I don't think they got the very tippy top one that they had at the time. I think it was like 12700K or something like that. And they said thermals were all right. But there's a system like this with a 13900K and a 4090 and a 4080 and different ones like that. Those are going to output a lot more heat, and I would just be concerned about the thermals. Nick, you need to get me a system, and it should be one of these ones in the 011 Evo so that I can test out the chimney style thermals and all that, and we'll see how that goes. We have an Intel Core i5 13600K still. Absolutely fine with that. This thing is amazing. 360mm AIO right there. Team Group, say the RGB 32 gigs, DDR5, 6000, same RAM. Now, this is a Z790 Tomahawk Wi-Fi motherboard that is an upgrade to the motherboard. You're also going up to the 4070 Ti, okay? And you're downgrading on your storage. I don't know if that's a typo, because I know the Voyager series said that it was now had 2 terabyte storage, and the plate and stuff, like, what happened here? And hey, if this is something that needs to be corrected, I'll run this real quick by Nick, and if it is supposed to be 2 terabytes, it'll say right there. 850 watt power supply, still sufficient for the 4070 Ti. Of course, 6 deep cool fans. So now that we've looked at up to the Sentinel here, up to $2,500, what happens when you go beyond even that? Let's take a look. Now we're getting up to the Voyager Creator, the Creator series. Okay, compared to the previous one, obviously we're getting into the 4K territory here, but it's still a 4070 Ti, which is demonstrably not that great for 4K due to a limit in the memory bus width, but it can play at 4K. It's just not great for it. However, there are some other major upgrades that you're getting for this. Major upgrades for that $400. Again, this is why I was saying that Starforge is on the right track here. They're not ignoring other important stuff here. So going from 13600K to a 13700K, LS720, 360mm AIO. And when you have different spec systems with the same cooling solution, same case, same everything, and things keep getting hotter and hotter, you're going to have two possibilities there. Either the lower end systems are vastly overcooled or overcompensated for, right? That's good, right? That's better for longevity of those parts. Or the hotter running builds are not quite hitting the mark when it comes to cooling. However, we still have the great Z790 Tomahawk Wi-Fi motherboard that is not going to bifurcate your GPU lanes, which is great. Same RAM, okay, 4070 Ti. Okay, but you do get the CPU upgrade and the storage is majorly upgraded here, okay? We're going from the 1 terabyte M.2 drive to dual 2 terabyte PCIe 4.0 M.2 drives. So seeing that here is great to see. You're the person spending nearly $3,000. So of course I'm glad to see that. Now, for someone spending that much, I'd like to see the 1000 watt power supply. Is that necessary for a 4070 Ti? Absolutely not. But this person may be wanting to upgrade in the future to when maybe if 4090s become more affordable or something like that. This is not going to carry a 13700K and a 4090. Well, we're going to move up to the Pro. But I will say at $2899, I want to see a 7900 XTX in this thing at $2899. I think this would be better off with a 7900 XTX. So going from the Voyager Creator to the Voyager Creator Pro is an $800 upgrade. So let's see what that upgrade gets you. You can already tell it's going to be 4080, but what else is done? Okay, nope. That right there, not for an $800 upgrade. I understand the 4080 is expensive. That was one of the complaints about it, is how expensive it is. And I understand that you're upgrading to a 13900K right here from a 13700K. Seriously, going from 32 gigs of DDR5 to 64 gigs of DDR5 is not that expensive. As a matter of fact, let's find out how much it is. But looking at this kit on Amazon, which, you know, prices fluctuate there, but it says typically $95 to $108 right here. That's just a Google thing. What if we change this number here to 64? It's not even, well, I mean, it's a round double, which makes sense. It's double the capacity. But you're not talking about what used to be like a $350 kit of RAM. DDR5 64 gig kits used to be really expensive. This is not that bad. MSI MPG A1000G Gold PCIe Gen 5 is a very solid, well-reviewed power supply. So I would say that for anything labeled creator, go all out on the memory, go all out on your storage, all of that, because those things are critical. I think that this system's a little out of balance, to be honest. I think that the processor, too much money goes into the processor, and other parts of the system suffer for that. I'd rather have a 13700K with 64 gigs of RAM for a creator system. We're gonna go all the way to the top of the heap here with the Voyager Creator Elite. But no Ultra. You have an RTX 4090 in here. That's the top of the heap when it comes to all kinds of performance in gaming, for consumers, gaming, video editing, some prosumer stuff. I mean, we're not talking about enterprise cards here, but still, it is nearly on that level. Of course, 13900K is a great match for that. Awesome matchup for that. 13900K versus 7800X3D. Let's have a quick talk about that. 7800X3D can beat the 13900K in some gaming by number of frames per second. For any other purpose, it loses. All right. Are you a programmer trying to compile some code? 7800X3D, not nearly anything close to what the 13900K can do, which makes sense. It has way more cores. It's also more expensive. Video editing, 13900K. You're trying to do 3D modeling, 3D graphics, Blender, whatever, 13900K. SolidWorks, trying to crank out some G code, 13900K. Not the 7800X3D. That is for a strictly gaming PC, not a creator PC. So that was a good move right there, going with that. Of course, we do have the 64 gigs of RAM here. That means you're stocking 64 gig kits, 2x32. Just for your $4,400 system, just for one of your computers. That should be the entire creator lineup. And I'm not going to talk about that anymore. Okay, and you got the same thing with the Kingston KC3000 and the Team Group 2 terabytes. So you have two 2 terabyte drives. This is the same exact cooling setup that they have for the 13600K 4070 Ti system, the Sentinel. That doesn't seem right to me. They can't just tell the deep cool 360 millimeter AIO, the LS720, hey, cool better, cool harder, please. You can run the fans louder, but that's the problem, is that it's a creator PC. you have a streamer next to a system that's loud, and they have to account for that. They have to fix it in post or try to tweak filters in OBS to get rid of that noise. And then if your noise filters, if your noise gate's too hot, if it's too aggressive, it starts clipping words, things like that. These are real problems that real creators have. At this price point, a creator could instead say, all right, I want a quiet system because that makes sense for me. I'll go with Falcon Northwest. And this is Falcon Northwest money. When you're in this arena at this price point, okay, the performance has to be there. It's not an option. Then again, the performance should be there for every price point. Build quality should always be good from any price point, and every system should be spec'd and tested to work at its optimum capacity, of course. I get the feeling here because the 13th gen Intel, anything with a K in the SKU, we're now used to thinking, oh, it's gonna run hot. But in the background, this thing's gonna be killing its frequencies if it's not getting enough cooling. And the 13900K is very hard to cool efficiently, very difficult, without generating a ton of noise. For $4,400, instead of still using a deep cool cooler, go with an AIO that is known to be quieter. Go with fans that are known to be quieter. Don't use the deep cool fans on a $4,400 system. If you're going to cut the number of fans down to 2/3 of what the case is possible, what's possible in the case, throw some Noctuas in there. Get the Chromax black ones. It looks sick. Yeah, they're not RGB, but this is a creator system. There's plenty of RGB y'all already throw in there. Lose a little fan RGB to keep that RGB plate that y'all have. The thing about a creator PC is, and with all the creators out there, guys, streamers, content creators that are part of, an OTK and part of ownership of Starforge, this needs to be something that you're like, that would meet all of your needs at the levels that you guys are at, professional levels. Even if it's not for professional content creators. I just hit 30K subs on YouTube. Now that's great, and I'm thrilled about that, but it's piddly compared to some of you guys and what you guys have on Twitch or YouTube. If it's missing the mark, and I think this is, because the same solution for a much hotter running system, that can't make sense. Even if it's staying under 100 degrees Celsius on the CPU, it's going to be because it's pulling back on frequencies. So what I need to do is I probably need to watch the benchmark testing and see what it says. But there is a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes with 13th gen Intel to maintain temperatures. They're designed to run up to 100 degrees Celsius and stay there. But how do they stay there if the cooling is the same as on an i5 and a 4070 Ti? That's the question. So I'm going to leave it at that. I mean, a lot of the stuff you guys are doing is right on the money. Like the direction you're going in, you are, as I said, on course to be one of the greats. Seriously, really cool stuff going on there. But the shipping info thing needs to be very upfront. You don't take people's information before you give them yours. You're trying to earn their business. So that's going to be it for this episode, guys. I hope you guys liked it. I've been doing these episodes of deep dives on specific system integrators, and let me know if you guys think this is the way to do it. The next video, I promise the next video is going to be a system at every budget from different SIs. But what we saw here was kind of a system at every budget. It's just some of them need some tweaking, in my opinion, and I hope that they do that. I am a little late to this. They made these changes a little while back, and I'm looking forward to maybe stopping by over there, touring the place, seeing how they've optimized their building and all that's optimized their build procedures, things like that. Nick knows what he's doing when it comes to those kinds of things, and I really want to see what's going on over there. So if you want to see that too, get subscribed. And yeah, that's something that should be happening sometime. They're only a couple hours away. Got a new car. I like driving right now, so I'll drive over there, see what's going on. More coming up soon, and I can't wait to see you guys then. But until then, take care.